Okay, so if you watched the last video, even a second or whatever, it's like 30 minutes long, so you really don't have to. It's just me rambling. But I said I would do a quicker version, kind of trying to summarize what I said in that video, and I wrote the timeline down, so it should be much more concise. So it's going to be really quick. But again, the whole point of these videos is to really kind of try to capture for me, but hopefully people relate or learn the language. But yeah, so I'm really trying to help people through the beginning process of what my experience of discovering if I do or do not have OSDD type B is like. So I guess we'll start. So the first thing that happened was I learned about a trauma that I had repressed. No memories of the trauma. I just learned that the trauma had happened in 2018. Shortly thereafter, I started experiencing symptoms of being a multiple. I don't necessarily remember what those are because I have like vague summaries and ideas of my memories up to like yesterday, but I have no, it's not like a movie playing in my head. Like I have no like word for word, scene for scene, bar for bar idea. It's just vague general memories. So step one, learning about the trauma, and then step two, having feelings of being multiple, and then that therefore leading to psychosis. So I don't want, when I say psychosis, I don't want that to discredit everything I'm saying about being multiple or being an OSDD type B system, because I'm saying I experience very, very minor psychotic symptoms, but they're not prevalent to my everyday life, and they're not clinical in the sense that I would say psychosis or psychotic break as I'm saying what happened in 2018. So what I think those two things, the emergence of repressed trauma and the feelings of being multiple, I think that led to be a psychosis because I think it was too much for my mind to handle at once because it was a lot. So that's kind of like step 1 and 2 for how, let me explain this at the end, but that's step 1 and 2. Step 3, was, I guess I should say step 3. So step 1 and 2 happened 2018. Then after that, I suppress it all. I think the trauma was just my psychosis. The feel like I'm multiple, just my psychosis. I move on with my life. I feel like a single person. I feel like I never had that trauma. I feel like I made it all up. Or not made it all up because that sounds intentional, but I feel like it was just a psychosis, like I'm trying to say. Come 2022, I don't remember, but I think it's summer 2022, I started to think about this trauma again and really work through the process of just accepting this trauma. So that took about probably since early 2022 to summer 2023, just working through just the fact if I had this trauma or not. That could be, I don't think anyone's gonna watch these videos, but if anyone does, and even if one person makes a comment about how I came to accept that trauma, because I think repressed trauma in I'm still working through this as well. So this is very like this could be very interesting, I find. But repressed memories and them resurfacing is very interesting and a hot topic. So if anyone wants any ideas of how that came about with me, even if one person comments or no people, I might just make this video. I don't know. Moving forward, so 2022 to 2023, I worked through accepting that trauma. 2023 summer, I think I accept the trauma. I'm still a little hesitant because there's no actual memories of this trauma yet, just a vague general idea that it happened. And not having actual memories, I don't discredit, because there's other trauma that I know happened that I don't have memories of either. Does that mean that trauma didn't happen? And I know that trauma did happen. So, there's also outside sources. Basically, my mind is trying to find every excuse to say this doesn't happen. It's not real, I'm making this up. But I need to accept that it did happen. So 2023 summer, I've passed the threshold of mostly accepting this trauma happened. Step 5, this is just this past January 2024, the first half of the month, I trigger attempt suicide. Don't watch this video anymore if you don't want to hear a quick, no detail, just suicide. Okay, I attempt. And that attempt was the trauma getting triggered. Again, no real memories, just something that, if this trauma happened, this thing that triggered it, obviously I'm being vague because it's my business, but basically, if it's like, say the trauma was blue, okay, for this sake, let's say yellow and green make blue, because I hope they do. So say the trauma is blue, and one day I see green. What am I trying to say? So say the trauma is blue, and one day I see green. Obviously, I'm going to think of yellow, which is the trauma. No, blue is the trauma. That's a really bad explanation. I don't want to refilm this video. So basically what I'm trying to say is, you see one, you see the other, you see the trauma. Okay, that's how that trigger happened. That doesn't make sense. I'm so sorry. It's relevant to the story anyways. The whole point of that was I attempted because of the trauma. And then this trauma led to step 6, which is the first very blatant symptom of me being a multiple while being sane. And again, this is just the beginning half of this month, so it's very recent. An alter. I don't like the word alter. I said this in the last video, so I clearly don't like the word alter, but I have no reason why I don't like it. Anyways. It's a word that everyone understands. I don't know what word I can use. Another identity? I don't know. No, keep this video short. Sorry. An alter fronted. So that was very blatant in my face. So I know I said this video would be explaining how the symptoms developed, and I'm going straight to the most obvious thing happened. So I'm sorry if that's confusing. Please reference back to that longer video, because it does dive deeper into the vague feelings that I'm feeling right now. But step 6 is a very blatant thing happened that I could not no longer ignore. Step 7 was feeling like a multiple and feeling symptoms. So I guess I can talk about the whole point of this video was the vague symptoms I was feeling. 1, I started feeling like I was hearing people in my head, but at first it was just very low chanter, and it was more like I was like, it honestly felt like I was forcing it. Like I was like really trying to focus and listen and listen and listen. I'm like, am I just imagining this because I'm focusing so hard? But then that grew. So it grew from like just a vague feeling that people are talking but not really hearing anything, to hearing people talking but just chatter that sounded like my own voice, to then hearing chatter that could not be deniable, that I was hearing something. And then again to distinct voices. So I know a lot of people will go drown straight to I was hearing distinct voices. I was not. I also, until this day, have not heard distinct words. I just hear talking. It's like talking in the next room, but it's in my head. It's not a hallucination, I swear. I know it's not a hallucination. I'm just saying, it's like, I know someone is, no, it's a better version. I said this the last video too. It's like English. It's like someone hearing English, and I'm just saying English because English is my language and that's the language being spoken in my head. But it's like English, someone who doesn't speak English hearing English. So I know words are being said, but I just don't know what exactly they're saying. But, so I was hearing, undeniably, some kind of word was said and a distinct voice. That was like way after. First I was thinking I was hearing people, then I was hearing like low, so low that I felt like I was making it up. Then I was hearing it, and then I was for sure hearing it. Then it was distinct voices to the point where at the time, now I can't because I don't have control of my memories, and I say that to just be like, I don't remember anything. Anyways, I just made a whole timeline, so clearly I remember something. Let me get back to what I'm saying. So now it's not so like sharp and clear in my head, but at the time I heard it, and then if I had to pick that voice out of like a sample of voices, I could. That's how replicable, and that's how for sure I knew I heard this voice, because it was so distinct. That's the level of distinct I'm talking about. It was not like that in the beginning. And again, this has only been 2 weeks, really. For me, it feels like it's taking forever, but now that I say that out loud, that's fast. But yeah, really, it was probably just a couple days. And also, this isn't all the time. And in fact, when I try to make it happen, it doesn't. It's usually when I'm like, I don't really have free time because I'm quite busy, but all the moments where I'm not actually doing something else, I'm watching videos about OSDD, learning about OSDD, learning about DID, learning about watching people's experiences, which is why I started making this video, because I'm like, nobody's talking about what it's actually like. They're just saying the symptoms. So just long. I said 5 to 7 minutes. Anyway, so now it's feeling OSDD type symptoms, and those are the symptoms. And I was also hearing, like in class, I heard someone snoring, and in another class I heard crickets, which was not hallucinating. I think it's coming from my headspace. Also, I have physical energy feelings of people being around me and like talking in my ear. So there's that too. Also, when the altar fronted, I had distinct personality differences. The thing when the altar fronted, and other people have said this too, so like really like watch a lot of videos to like understand. But when the altar fronted, like I said, back in 2018, I thought I had DID. So when the altar fronted, I knew something along the lines of co-fronting, but something about it, like knowing, and then knowing what you're feeling and combining it to be like, that's what I was experiencing. Like that bridge takes kind of a while for me to like build. So, and in that moment, I just thought, I'm making this up. Like, I feel like me. I didn't, it felt like 90% someone else, 10% me. So I think that's where people are saying, oh, I felt like I was being possessed. I felt like I had no control of my body. Cause like, it still kind of felt like me. Sorry, that was my cat. I don't know if you heard her. You're good too. That was my dog. So it still felt like me. No, it felt like someone else. It felt like a distinct other person, but I was in there still to some capacity. So I was like, I'm just making this up. But it was very different. I held my body different. I had distinct fashion differences. I had, but a big thing, I didn't want to wear a hat, and I will die in a hat. So that's how I knew that it was a different person. For me, that's how I knew. And also just how I was holding my face. Like I was, the person was like scrunting their head like this. Like, I'm not trying to mimic him, but the person was like like their brow was like furrowed, whatever it's called. I don't do that, as you can tell in the video. I don't do that, right? But the whole time he was holding his face like this, and that's just not me. So that's he recorded a video, and I was co-fronting during the time too. But so I should always say we recorded a video, but his mannerisms. So he had control. That's what that means. See, I'm learning as I go. So now I know. Okay, but yeah. Yes. 50 minutes, that's not that bad. I hope this made sense. I'm still learning. I'm sorry.